by which he conquered, really. Maybe you remember, he was invited to come to the Mayavadis in Kashi, in Varanasi, and all of a sudden, as he was sitting in this most unclean place where the sannyasis washed their feet, all of a sudden he exhibited a miracle which convinced actually, or half convinced, Prakashananda and the others to see him not just as a magician on the street, but as the Supreme Lord himself. He showed an effulgence that was as bright as what was the number? 1 million suns or so. And but we were discussing that with this effulgence, there was more than light coming from him. There was beauty coming from him. So today we will hear about the second weapon of Lord Chaitanya. The first being his extraordinary beauty, but his second weapon is his kirtan. And you will be quite amazed to hear, first of all, the type of kirtans Lord Chaitanya sang, but then how he danced. Now, before I start, I want to see that all the translations are in part. I hear there is a sound from the Ukrainian translation. Is that true? Yes? No? Russian, Ruski. Good. Do we need another translation? No. Ruski is all right for everyone. Fine. I'm thinking of my Italian guests. Is there in Italian translation? Ayataksi, you are doing? Wow, you are extremely capable. So there's Italian translation, and I think that should cover everything and everyone. Today is my favorite day for this katha. Okay, so let us start. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda Sadodito, Nityananda Sadodito, Godadaye Pushpavanto, Godadaye Pushpavanto, Shito Shando Tamonudo, Shito Shando Tamonudo. All of us together. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Shuskatyare Satarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare devotees, as we go from one year, one calendar year, to the next year, staying in our beautiful temple with the beautiful, merciful deities in their Sylvester outfit. They are already starting with the extraordinary dresses. Today is Chinese style. As we come together, let us look for inspirations and for strengths. Inspiration and strengths, which will become our good friends in the next year. We have inspiration on one side, the visionary, the side in us which sees possibilities, and if we have strengths on the other side, the ability to apply and to dare and to take new risks for Krishna, we are best company. And this inspiration and strength we hope to draw from the Supreme Lord and His extraordinary pastimes. We will in a minute continue talking about Mahaprabhu's amazing meeting with the Mayavadis of Varanasi, but because he will invite them to do kirtan, I wanted to first speak about Lord Chaitanya and his kirtans. One night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed all the devotees. He said, "Let us not waste the night with sleeping." No, instead you should take your bath in the Ganga in the evening. Then you should come to the house of Srivas Thakur, and then you should sing the holy name the whole night. By this we will purify the world, and we will also attain the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Simple program. Take your bath in the Ganga, come here, sing all night. This is how we will purify the world and attain the lotus feet of Krishna. Perhaps when someone would tell you, "Oh, why waste the night with sleeping?" you would become depressed. "I need to sleep." But when the devotees heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling them, "Let's stay up all night and chant," they felt energized and happy. The thought to perform every night kirtan was encouraging and stirring up their souls, because with Mahaprabhu as their leader, they thought impossible becomes possible. So they all came together in the house of Srivas Thakur, sometimes also in the house of Chandrasekhar, and they participated in the kirtan, which Mahaprabhu was leading, or sometimes he was telling another devotee to lead. I would like you to know a little bit the names of the devotees, and perhaps we can all chant the names after me just to purify the atmosphere, because these were devotees, my dear devotees, who danced and chanted in the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are not ordinary people of this world. These devotees were actually coming from the spiritual world. They were visitors, if you so want, from Goloka Vrindavan. So let us say, Nityananda and Gadadhar, Advaita and Shrivas, Vidyanidhi and Murari, Haridas and Shuklambar, Gangadas, Vanamali, Jagadananda, Buddhimanta Khan, Vasudev Datta, Govinda Das, Gopinath, Jagadish, Shriman, Sadashiv, Vrakeshvara, Purushottama, and a number of other devotees. My dear devotees, there's a little book which has been published many hundred years ago. It is the author is Narahari Chakravarti, which contains a long list of devotees. And it is said in this book, just by calling out the names of these devotees, our hearts become purified so that we can chant the holy name. We all know one devotee whom we are remembering, and it is Haridas Thakur. But all these devotees who came with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the sources of our energy and our strength. So Mahaprabhu used to sing and lead the kirtan and dance in the middle of the devotees. And they were all building, so to say, concentric circles around him, so that they could all see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and see him entering what is called the bhava of Krishna consciousness. It's a state of consciousness where the consciousness is filled with Krishna. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant and Krishna would be in his heart, he would sometimes lose the balance. Yes. Well, that is maybe one way of looking at it. The other way is he would throw himself on the ground and he would roll because he wanted to catch the dust from the feet of all the devotees. And of course, when the devotees saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing that, I think you can understand what they did. They were also diving down and with great happiness chanting and dancing from the floor. My dear devotees, what a wonderful dance. The dance of the Lord, whose name Narad Muni and Shukadev chant. The name of the Lord, who delivered Ajamil and all sinners. This name, which frees all of us from our bondage, was chanted by the Lord himself with his dearmost devotees. And they were dancing, my dear devotees. They were dancing to their heart's content. There were different dancing styles which Mahaprabhu applied. One was called the Danda Nritya, where he just jumped up and down like a danda, just more or less straight, and he would go so high that his feet would only touch the earth after some time. So he jumped 1 meter, 1 meter 50, shoop, bang, and when he landed, the world would shake. Another dancing style of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the chakra dance. I have not seen this in our movement. It's when a devotee becomes like a fire wheel and moves and lights up the whole night. Maybe Nam Sankirtan can do it during Radha Desh mellows, but it's a chakra dance. It requires great dancing abilities and spiritual abilities. Sometimes the Lord would take the dust from the feet of the devotees, and sometimes he would throw his arms around the necks of the devotees and weep, overwhelmed with divine ecstasy. At other times, and you might find this surprising, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who saw Krishna in the courtyard of his heart, would become so mesmerized by the beauty of the Lord that he would stand still, he would stop all the dancing, and he would just stand for 6 hours like this, holding the flute and imitating Krishna. Of course, he didn't really imitate Krishna because he is Krishna, but he stood like this, and the devotees felt actually, listen to this, that Krishna was in their presence. Sometimes in Vrindavan you see little boys taking, Vrajbasi boys making like this, and you think how sweet. But you don't necessarily feel Krishna's presence. But when Lord Chaitanya did it, wow! The devotees felt Krishna's presence. And they felt Krishna stood right amongst themselves, and they worshipped his lotus feet with flowers. And in this way, my dear devotees, what can we talk about the bhava, the mood of Lord Chaitanya? Lord Chaitanya, there is a section in the writing that sometimes Krishna takes on 4 arms to serve his devotees. Do we sometimes not feel when we distribute prasadam, or if I would have an extra set of arms, I could really distribute prasadam? So the Lord Krishna sometimes manifests an extra set of arms to serve all his devotees. And the same mood came into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Bhagavan himself, the Supreme Lord, who felt in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness, he wanted to serve his devotees, and he took the dust from their lotus feet and smeared it over his body. And then, my dear devotees, the devotees sang various kirtans. We generally sing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra again and again and yet again. And there are parts in the scriptures which encourage us. Krishna himself says to Arjuna in the Adi Purana, Arjuna, know of all my many names, there is one name which I like most. Would you like to know that name? That name is Krishna. Yes. So therefore, we are, there's also Mukunda and Govinda, Madhusudan, but Krishna likes Krishna most. Of course, when Mother Yashoda calls him lovingly, Kanai, come here, then he also likes that. It is, but in that verse he highlights the name of Krishna. But the devotees were not only singing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Here's another mantra which they sang. Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Everybody, Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Everybody, Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram. Lord Chaitanya said, everyone should sing these names of Krishna. Husband, wife, and children should come together and sing these names of Krishna. But there were other songs. Hari O Rama Rama, 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 Hari O Rama. Everybody now. Hari O Rama Rama, Hari O Rama. Now only I will sing Hari O Rama Rama, Hari O Rama Rama. Everybody. Hari O Rama Rama, 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 Hari O Rama. Jai Shri Krishna Mukunda Murari Vanamali. 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 Hari Bol Mukunda Gopala Vanamali. Hari Bol Mukunda Gopala Vanamali. Hari Bol Mukunda Gopala Vanamali. Rama Krishna Jai Dvani Govinda Gopal. Rama Krishna Jai Dvani Govinda Gopal. Rama Krishna Jai Dvani Govinda Gopala. Haribol! Actually, it's best if we do this with on a screen. But these were the songs that Vrindavan Das Thakur describes as being sung by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I like especially this Hari O Rama Rama, Hari O Rama Rama. And they would sing the names of Krishna. But then they would also all the time return to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Would you like to know how Krishna Chaitanya or Sri Chaitanya looked when he actually did kirtan and danced? Can I read this to you? Good, I will do this then. When Lord Chaitanya sang, his body usually showed extraordinary ecstasies. Like he would get goose pimples, and at times these developed such a size that he looked like a semolina tree. How does a semolina tree look? Well, it looks a little bit like a cactus, where you see there's the greenish type of substance, and then there is something coming, and then there are white hairs. Yes? No? Middle? Good. So he also looked as if they were like a flowering tree. And he would move with his body in a way that the Gandharvas would be ashamed. Now Gandharvas, my dear devotees, they know how to dance. They are knowing all exquisite dancing movements, and Mahaprabhu would move like this. Very often devotees saw that he would put his left hand on the hip like this, and with his right hand, while he did kirtan, he was waving like this, as if he was calling someone. Come Krishna, like this. Or his hand would move like a flag, and so on. How would he sing? Well, the only way Rupa Goswami can describe or does describe the singing of the Lord is in a way that encourages us to also sing. It is said at the It's not so easy to explain. At the bottom of the ocean, you will find these beautiful pearls. So when Mahaprabhu would sing, the deep devotional feelings that were at the bottom of his heart would come out almost like pearls who came from the bottom of the ocean up and out of his mouth. Can you understand?
Yes.
So something from inside, which was hidden but was very precious, would come during the kirtan out and would become audible, or people could hear it. So in this way, you can see it was not feelingless singing. It was singing with devotional feelings. And that made his singing of kirtan so absolutely infectious, so that anyone who came to his kirtans would also develop or feel these devotional feelings. I have once been, not just once, there are very good kirtaniers in our movement now who sing also with devotional feelings. Here I would like to share with you a kirtan which Prabhupada sang. I mean, share means in the sense I would like to remember and tell you what we said. Prabhupada was singing Jaya Radha Madhava, the song with the names of the Lord. It's also a Nam Sankirtan, and it was in Mayapur. The whole temple room was absolutely full. There was not a centimeter free for anyone to sit, not even for a mosquito. It was so full. And Srila Prabhupada then went into an ecstatic emotion of Krishna consciousness. And as we listened to his emotion in Krishna consciousness, we felt very moved. My dear devotees, I used to visit the Hamburg temple when I was young, perhaps 15 years and a few months. And I remember one morning I came into the temple and there was a recording of someone singing. I did not know who it was. And as this personality was singing, I listened to the recording, I sat on the sofa. All of a sudden his voice was breaking and he was deeply, deeply relishing devotional feelings towards Krishna. Later I found out that this person was Srila Prabhupada. I didn't know anything at that time. But I always will remember the early morning in the Hamburg temple. I sat on the sofa, there was no one around, and only the song of someone singing for Krishna with deep ecstasy, deep feelings of devotional ecstasy. And it made such an impact that I decided at that time, I think this is my path. I think I will. I was into, not really into, but I was meditating regularly, and I was interested in sport, and in there's a state when you run for a long time, you get into almost a meditative state, so that I was doing that. But I decided when I heard this singing with emotion, with devotional emotion, this is my path. I will become a devotee eventually. I have to finish a few things and then I will go. So Mahaprabhu's singing was as if pearls from the ocean of bhava, of Krishna consciousness, would come up and leave his mouth through his lips and reach the people. That was his type of singing. So once, and now we come close to our little story here. Once, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking, this was still in Navadvip, before he took sannyas, with a devotee called Murari. All of a sudden, Mahaprabhu changed. He was charged with the bath of Bhagavan. His mind went to Prakashananda Saraswati, and he was biting his teeth, and they were making a sound because he was in a rage, and he yelled, "In Kashi!" Sorry, but this is how he yelled. "Sits Prakashanand, the fellow teaches Vedanta. He chops off my hands and cuts my feet and cuts my body into pieces by declaring that I have no form. Because he demolishes my body, I caused leprosy in his body. Even then, this fool persists in teaching that my form is false. I tell you, Murari, because you are my servant, that my divine form is true. My servants are eternally true. And my servants are also true. My holy Dham is true. My Leela is true. My name and form and my attributes are all true. They are glorified by Anantadeva, Shiva and Narad and the Vedas. But this Prakashananda dares to say that they are false. After Mahaprabhu expressed his rage against Prakashananda and condemned those who denounced his Vigraha, he again switched moods, and as a Bhakta he spoke, as a devotee. "Have I said something intense, Murari? I cannot express to you how dear you are to me." So here, this is from the, what is it called? The Chaitanya Bhagavat. We hear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu making his first comment about that rascal Prakashananda. Fast forward. Yesterday Mahaprabhu talked with Prakashananda on Vedanta. Prakashananda had been very open to what he had to say. But afterwards he was confused. I'm meeting this golden avatar, and he is convincing me that all my learning, all my study of Vedanta, all my fasting, all my austerities are in vain, they are good for nothing, because I had been in a mistake. I can't just change my life now. So Prakashananda had stayed for how many days in his house, in his hut? 3 days. He had not come out. Then something totally unpredictable happened. Something which changed the atmosphere of Varanasi. One morning, after 3 days, Lord Chaitanya had taken his bath in the Ganga. And on his way back, he had dried himself. His golden body was shining. he visited the temple of Bindu Madhava. It's a small temple, my dear devotees. The deity is this. Yes, we see him like this. And when he saw the deity of Krishna, Bindu Madhava is the name of Krishna, he was thrown in an ocean of ecstasy. And there, everything changed. He started to sing and dance, and as he sang and danced, the people became aware of this, and they came in masses, almost like ants in India when you open a honey glass. They come everywhere. You can even put the honey glass and surround it by water, you put them in a big tali, but the ants will construct little boats and float to drink the honey. So people came to drink the honey of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic kirtans, and they started to shout very loudly, and you police have to also now sing very loudly, Hari Hari! Hari Hari! Yes. It was very loud, and they constantly shouted Hari Hari, and these loud shouts reached Prakashananda. He was there in his hut, all mental, on the mental platform, had not showered for 3 days and all. And when he heard this loud chanting of Hari Hari, he decided, this is my opportunity. I've heard Lord Chaitanya speak about Krishna. I've seen how he was absolutely delighted when he spoke about Krishna. I saw the joy running through his frame, but I have not seen this heavenly being dancing in ecstasy. So he told his disciples, bring me to the spot where Gauranga Mahaprabhu does his kirtan. I want to see it. And then he came, and what he saw was absolutely exceeding all his expectations. So what I wish to do now is, I wish you to sing a nice Nam Kirtan together, and while you do this, you should try to be there and see the scene. Prakashananda later described what he saw. He said, I pay my obeisances. I pay my obeisances to the best of all masters, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose whole body is pervaded with spiritual ecstasy. Can any one of you remember the complexion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body? Yes, he looked like molten gold. Molten gold looks very shiny. If you get a chance to see how they mold gold or melt gold, it sometimes may even have a little reddish hue. But the idea is it's shiny. I pay my obeisances to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is dancing with the most graceful movements of his feet. His golden arms are uplifted and raised to the sky. His body is swaying to and fro. Again and again he calls out that supreme name that gives joy to all, Hari Hari. Hari Hari. And thus he withdraws all the evil from the world. So this is what Prakashananda wrote after he had seen Lord Chaitanya dance in spiritual ecstasy. He had seen the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pervaded with spiritual ecstasy. He had seen how he was dancing in the most graceful way with his feet. He had seen the golden arms raised, and he had heard him chanting that name that gives joy to all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, just try to do a little time travel. We are coming to the streets of Varanasi 530 years ago maybe. And there's an ocean of people surrounding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has his arms up and who cries tears of ecstasy as he chants. His tears reach those who are closest. They come from his eyes like syringes, you know. Yes, and then all of a sudden they're at the edge of the kirtan, or where the people are, a commotion is, and all these sannyasis dressed in saffron with their dandas come, and they are led by this giant, this intellectual giant, Prakashananda Saraswati, and they come close to this kirtan group, and Mahaprabhu is displaying all the aspects of ecstasy, and as Prakashananda watches him breathless, something seems to enter into his body. His feet move about as if dancing. He has never danced for the last 50 years. He has not danced. He thought it's Maya to dance. Yes. Every nerve is affected. And he sees how Mahaprabhu cries and tears start to move on him also. So I think we cannot reproduce the kirtan of that time, but we can we can at least sing and remember what we have heard. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. There are prayers, my dear devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, oh, why was I not born during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why was I not there? Why did I not see how he was dancing? Where was I when he convinced Prakashananda and changed his heart? Where was I when Haridas Thakur met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And where was I when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Haridas Thakur's old body on his arms? And the body, Haridas Thakur had left the body. It was the dead body. And he danced towards the sea with him and gave him his last washing. He went into the ocean. Where was I? Why did I not see all this? I could have just carried the earthen pot with the water for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I was not there to carry even a water pot. Where was I? Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes like this. My dear devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not a historical personality who appeared during one particular troubled epoch, when the countries of India were under foreign rule. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is all of our path back home, back to Godhead, because he, in his mind, does not condemn anyone. Yes, when he was with Murari, he switched from the human mood into the divine mood, and he severely chastised Prakashananda. But when he actually met him in Varanasi or Kashi, his mood was not that of condemning anyone. He spoke to him, he explained his own let us say, relationship to the holy name by telling him what he experienced when Ishvara Puri gave him the holy name. And more than anything, he reached out to him. He arranged all this so that when Prakashananda was in his hut and not knowing, should I remain a Mayavadi? Or should I become a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu arranged to give him that last little push which he needed to move into the ocean of bhakti. Wonderful, no? Wonderful. So I will come to a close now. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was seen like this by Prakashananda, Prakashananda concluded he must be God. And Prakashananda's eyes rained torrents of tears. Up till that time, Prakashananda had seen him as the best of scholars, but now a change came. And this change, my dear devotees, is possible for all of us, even today. Well, what are the stations in the journey of Prakashananda? What will be our stations? Well, first, Prakashananda was purified from his pride and the passion of being a scholar, the passion that he could understand the scriptures. If you want Mahaprabhu's movement or Mahaprabhu's mercy, you also need to come down from your mountain and into the valley of reality, where you understand, oh yes, I'm a small person. at the beginning, this is the second stage. After all, he was famous. He was more famous than Will Smith or Messi, Lionel Messi, or or Pele, or I have to find some modern examples of faith. No, he was so famous, my dear devotees. Some people don't know about Messi and football and all. And even I would not know if I wouldn't have found a good instructor in this world. But Prakashananda needed to, he was one of these superstars. And when he met Mahaprabhu, his vanity in Deutsch, Eitelkeit, struggled with him. But then he developed a veneration and attraction for the Lord. I wish all of you that you will also feel, Mahaprabhu is wonderful, and will feel attracted to his kind smile and his dealings. And when he was developing a veneration and attraction, then he was open to be touched by the kirtan. You need purification, you need to distance yourself from the false ego, and you need to feel some type of attraction to the Lord, and then the kirtan of Mahaprabhu can touch you. As Prakashananda watched this amazing kirtan and Mahaprabhu dancing, the tears of the Lord washed his heart, and he fell in love. All fear of public opinion, what will others think of me? I mean, I'm here, the celebrity in Varanasi, and my feet are moving, I'm starting to dance, I can't believe it. All this left him. So the crowd, you can't believe what this did in the crowd. The crowd became absolutely uncontrollable with joy. They had seen that their secret hero, Mahaprabhu, had conquered their public hero, Prakashananda. And they were absolutely happy. Mahaprabhu was hearing the noise of the crowd. It was like an ocean of voices, and this brought him out of his ecstatic trance of Krishna consciousness. And he looked around. It was as if he had come from the bottom of the ocean of love and had come to the surface, and now he could see everyone. And his first reaction when he saw these many, many millions of people around him was, he paid his obeisances. He paid his obeisances to Prakashananda Saraswati, who was sweating, and we would say in ISKCON, he was totally blissed out, from that kirtan experience. And he went down and paid his obeisances, Mahaprabhu. When Prakashananda saw him, he rushed forward and said, No, please don't pay obeisances to me. You must be God. And Mahaprabhu said, No, I'm not God. Vishnu. Prakashananda said, we have to talk. Please, can we talk? Mahaprabhu looked around. Well, there are now so many people here. You better tell me a peaceful place where we can talk. Well, if you don't mind, said Prakashananda, only Mahaprabhu could hear. I have a hut, and no one knows what goes on in that hut. Could you please come in the evening and meet me in my hut? So Mahaprabhu agreed to meet Prakashananda in the hut. And then, but before Prakashananda left, Lord Chaitanya did something unexpected. He embraced Prakashananda, and Prakashananda, this was really too much. It was like millions of volts went into his body. He just fainted, pang, on the ground, and Mahaprabhu also fainted. So they were lying there, surrounded by this ocean of people who had really something to talk about, and so on. The day passed. Evening arrived. The bells of Varanasi called the faithful worshippers into the different temples. The sun was setting at the Ganga. Somewhere there was an arati going on right at the banks of the Ganga, and a golden figure moved through the back alleys of Varanasi to not be seen. You must know, wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, a crowd of people followed him. We heard yesterday that these people were not just following him passively, they followed him actively. In other words, they scooped off the sand from the streets where Mahaprabhu would walk, to have a little sand which was touched by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for memory. Would you like to have some sand where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked over? Yes. I don't have any. But it must be available somewhere. When we are in Mayapur, we can maybe inquire. So that was the situation. It was a problem for the roads, but who cares? There are more important things than roads in the world. So in the evening, Mahaprabhu found his way to the hut of Prakashananda. Prakashananda sat there. He looked like a young bhakta. His eyes were full of light. And Mahaprabhu said, "This is not a good place for you any longer. You have thousands, 10,000s of disciples. You are so famous. You better go to Vrindavan. Go to the land of Krishna." Prakashananda said, "Oh no, now where I have found you, please don't ask me to leave you." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered something, and this is very important for his devotees in 2022 and also 23. He said, "Whenever you feel my separation intensely, then you will have me near to you. You will see me in the core of your heart." My dear devotees, my dear friends, many met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially when he was traveling, like on his South India travel, and they wanted to always go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We hear this in the case of Jesus, that when people saw him, they wanted to move with him, and sometimes they were encouraged to leave everything behind and move. So there were many millions of people who wanted to go with Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu would always say, "No, stay where you are and do these three things. Read about Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Chant Krishna's holy names and talk about Krishna to others. In this way you will have my association." My dear devotees, that's also what you can do. Read about Krishna from where? Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Then, second point, chant the holy names, yes, in a very, very distracted way, like the Hare Krishna movement. No, sorry. Chant the holy name in an absorbed way. And then, finally, what you should do, make like little programs in your house. Invite people to your home, to a program of Bhagavad Gita and Kirtan, and then you serve some prasadam. This will spread Mahaprabhu's mercy even in Kali Yuga. Then Prakashananda spoke again. You don't know what you did to me. In this life I had torn all the ties that kept me chained. I have cut all the ties to the world, to family, to literature, to everything. But then what happened? You have again bound and chained me up with the chain of the love for you. Now I'm bound to you. I pay my obeisances, Prakashananda said, to the all-merciful Mahaprabhu, the Divine Master, whose mere touch or sight or mercy is enough to bestow love even upon those who are far, far away from him, if they pay respect to him in their hearts. My dear devotees, this is how we will end our little evening of Mahaprabhu. I request you to sit straight. Yes. Oh, that's a little difficult. You can look, my God, is this altar beautiful? But Radha Madan Mohan were in shopping in China. Hare Krishna. I'm affectionately, I don't know if this is all right to say about Radha Madan Mohan, but you will see they have many styles. They are very creative, these deities. So I request you to sit properly, and as you are calming down, I request you to see the golden image of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in your mind's eye. Please close your eyes for that. I think you all have seen deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some of us have seen the deity in Mayapur, very large and very golden, big lotus eyes, very effulgent, and we can sing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sorry. Even those who are far, far away from him, if they pay respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in their hearts, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is right with them. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Anand Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha, Shyama Kunda Radha Kundali Govardhan ki Jai, Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki Jai, Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Jai, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki Jai, Pravati Devi Tulasi Devi ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Samavita Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Varanasi ki Jai, Gaura Premanandi, glories to the Assembled Devotees, glories to the Assembled Devotees, glories to the Assembled Devotees, glories to Sri Guru Ji Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please just sit for just only 1 or 2 minutes at most. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for participating so energetically and inspired and fully in this Gaura evening sorry. Let us think for a moment about the power of the Lord. And he conquered Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur by his beauty, and he conquered his heart a second time by his ecstatic kirtan. Such is the power of the Lord. Even people who were intoxicated in intellectual conceptions, people who were lost in sense gratification, like Jagai and Madai, and people who are in Kali Yuga, like us. There was also Kali Yuga, but who are in progress Kali Yuga, called 22nd still, but for tomorrow we will switch into 23. Even those people can reach or can be reached by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I wish you all the best. We have now one more day, a Saturday, right? That will be a very intense day. We will go up till beyond midnight. Yes. We will. What is a better way to enter the new year than chanting and dancing? There will be many things. You can look at the schedule. I request you to pace yourself. Take enough rest so that you are watching that is moving into the next year with strength. I don't know there's Gaura Hari. Would you please? Yes, there is. So Gaura Hari will give us a little orientation. But it's such a nice way to spend the time with all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you also for our guests from Radhadesh. You made the evening for all of us. Manu, Gopinath, Sankirtan, Nam Sankirtan, someone else?
Benny Prabhu and Eric Prabhu.
Benny Prabhu and
Eric Prabhu.
Eric Prabhu. Good, Benny and Eric Prabhus. Haribo.
So I just want to thank very much Surine Sachinandana Swami for this beautiful katha this evening, and with Manu and Krishna singing, I think we all went very high today in Krishna consciousness. So we end the evening with a great feeling of gratitude for what we have received this evening, and more is there to come tomorrow. And Bhagavad Dharma was in the kitchen this evening, making a lasagna. So this is the optimum end for such an event.
Festival, festival, festival.